Hey everyone, James Niggemeyer here. Thank you for tuning back into the YouTube channel. Today I'd like to do a video where I go over the rod that I like for jig fishing. If you followed the channel for any length of time, you know that I used to be with another rod company. Now I'm with Phoenix Rods. But my history with Phoenix Rods actually goes back quite a ways to my late teens, early 20s. I actually bought them at retail and I was a customer of theirs mainly because of the influence of Don Iovino. If you know who that is, he's the Doodle King. He was the person that popularized finesse fishing, these hand-poured 4 and 6 inch soft plastic worms out on the West Coast lakes. These are small little lakes, 2,000 acre lakes that were pretty close to Los Angeles, kind of where I grew up. So that's where my history with Phoenix Rods began. But to come back full circle to Phoenix Rods and be a part of the team is really kind of exciting. And it takes a little bit of time to kind of figure out what rod you like for which application. I mean, there's rods that are technique specific, and then there's rods that just have the action on them, and then you just kind of put them into play where you see fit. And when it comes to jig fishing, I'm super particular about it. But the jig fishing that I'm talking about is specifically, casting, skipping, and short cast. Stuff that's, less than 20 feet or so. Not necessarily flipping, but short underhand cast towards targets, skipping under docks, and maybe fishing on points, different things like that. So the rod I've really settled into is a Phoenix Ultra MBX Classic. And you might think, why extra heavy? But the reality is different rod companies will actually give or assign their actions based on certain criteria. So some rod companies, because of the invention of fluorocarbon and braided lines, their mediums could actually be viewed as a medium heavy, and so on and so forth. So when I say extra heavy, don't get the wrong idea. This rod is got a lot of backbone. It's probably 75-25, and what I mean by that is 75% of it is really strong backbone, and then right there at the tip, you've got some nice tip action. And the reason I want a little bit of tip action in my jig rod is for lure placement, not only for casting but accuracy around targets, pitching it, making short underhand casts, getting up under docks with skip casts, different things like that. So I want some tip to my rod so that I can make those types of casts. See, there's the tip I'm talking about. So you see how it might even be considered an 80-20, but it's a 75-25, maybe 80-20. So it's got a lot of nice backbone, then it shuts off. But you need a tip in order to place a bait so that it doesn't hit the water like a ton of bricks, but also for skipping it under that dock and hitting that one little stump over here, or throwing it that dark spot over there, or laying it up near a weed edge, different things like that. This rod is rated for 12 to 20 pound test and 3/8 to 1.5 ounce. I want to share some of the things that I've done with it as well that are just little tweaks that I feel like make it ideal for who I am as an angler. I'm 6'2", so there's different things that each person have likes, and they have desires about the way that they are, their body mechanics and the way that they fish. So it's important to kind of have that right rod. And I try to keep my fishing simple, but I am particular. Number one, the reel that I like is a Bass Pro Shops Johnny Morris Signature Series reel. It's their Platinum Signature Series, and it's an 8.3-to-1 gear ratio. And then the line that I'm using, sorry, that's my dog. And then the line that I'm using is 16 pound to 20 pound test Gamma Edge fluorocarbon. Let me tell you some things that I really like about the rod other than the action itself. I love the fact that it has double foot guides, and then it goes to single foot train all the way to the tip. It's very lightweight, sensitive, and then I really like what they've done with the reel seat and then the handle. I love cork, but I also like EVA or foam. I like what they've done in here. And then I like the reel seat because it has one of these reel seats where you turn it like that and it tightens up right down on your reel seat, nice and snug. You don't have the threads from the reel seat. I like the fact that it's nice and soft right there on my finger. It just feels really comfortable. And then this is you've got an exposed blank there, as well as it's formed where there's not a lot of material there. So it really seats well into the hand like that. So I really like that as well. A couple of modifications that I did. This rod it doesn't really have a long handle, but I wanted it just a hair short. I think I reduced it by about 1 inch. So I just cut it, and then I had this spare cap here. It's like a cork or pseudo cork cap, and I glued that on. And I like that because when I'm skipping and different things like that, your butt can sometimes catch your clothing or under the arm, but it just fits perfectly, as you can see right there. Just rests right on the arm, just nicely. Really like the way that feels. It's the right length, and just some different things that I like to do to kind of modify it to make it mine. The other thing that I've done is there's a hook keeper here, and the hook keepers have a tendency, if you're letting line out, with the line, it'll wrap around and catch on that. So in an effort not to catch my line on that, I went ahead and just put some electrical tape around it. Doesn't look bad at all. Just one little strip of electrical tape right around that, covers that up, and then the line just slides right over it. I like the fact that it eliminates any potential issue of it catching right there. But that's my jig rod. Gosh, it's such a good looking rod. It's very comfortable, easy to fish. I love kind of this carbon fiber here, look right here that you have. And then it goes into just a matte graphite, or what we would call carbon color. Just simple black with silver threads. Yeah, just a really good looking rod, very comfortable. I've been very happy with it. Caught some really good fish with it. It's just become my go-to for fishing a jig, and wanted to share that with y'all. Hope you guys got something out of this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Share with me what is your favorite rod for jig fishing. Maybe, I know some people like a little bit longer rod, and I have other longer rods for jig fishing. But when it comes to the things that I mentioned earlier, this rod just does the right thing for me. It really kind of enables me to be as efficient as possible. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. Also, I've got merch. I'm wearing a piece right here. This is the Team Niggemeyer Fishing merch brand that I have. I'll leave the link in the description below. And lastly, if you haven't found my website, make sure you go over there and check that out. It's jamesniggemeyer.com. Until next time, thanks for watching and good fishing.